Meow to y'all, and welcome back to another video. It's pretty easy to tell which Stardew Valley characters are favorites in the community. Since certain characters are more popular than others, threads and videos about those characters end up having a lot of discussion in the comment sections, and I've started to notice similar statements get repeated. The idea that Sebastian is ConcernedApe's self-insert character is usually somewhere on any thread or video about Sebastian, but is that really true? That's what we'll be discussing today, so buckle up. If you don't know me, I'm Sauter. I make Stardew Valley YouTube videos featuring game challenges, lore, and theory crafting and analyses, so if you've got any suggestions for the next video, feel free to leave a comment down below and hit that subscribe button for more. There is no way I could possibly run a theory channel about Stardew Valley and not stumble upon every theory out there, but this one seems to be really common. So common to the point where people claim that ConcernedApe has outright said that Sebastian is his self-insert character. That has never happened. What has happened, instead, is that a few videos or Reddit threads or BuzzFeed articles or whatever have repeated the same theory over and over and over again, and sometimes these theories are stated in a way where it's just common sense or just a plain and simple fact, but that's not true. So, before I continue with my theory, I do want to emphasize that the theories on this channel, my channel, are just that. Theories. I present my theories to y'all with evidence that I find, and you can either agree, disagree, or bring up your own theories in the comments, and I seriously do love reading them, so thank y'all for sharing. I'm going to slightly debunk the Sebastian is ConcernedApe's self-insert character theory, but it's not really debunking because it's just my thoughts on it. You're still allowed to believe he's his self-insert character if you want. Then I'll present my theory with some evidence that I believe showcases my thoughts. To debunk the theory, there's just no evidence. ConcernedApe's Ask Me Anything that he did on Reddit is cited as a source very frequently, but it's not there. He never said Sebastian is his self-insert character. Here's what he actually said. Reddit user says, "How do you ever get any sleep? In reality, are there any characters that you wrote in a way that was an homage to anyone you knew personally?" ConcernedApe replied, "There are a couple of characters that are based off people I know in real life, but mostly they are amalgamations of the many people I've met throughout life." Now, if you get married to Sebastian, and if his hearts are high enough, he can say, "I did some work on the laptop today. I was actually brainstorming some ideas for a game I want to make. With your farming income, I can afford to do what I want with my life. It's pretty amazing. Thank you." Now this does tie into ConcernedApe, who has stated that he started working on Stardew Valley while his girlfriend was able to support him and the bills. Reddit user asked, "What prompted you to make such a risky financial decision? I think most people with a similar desire would have gotten a normal job and made this their hobby, especially considering you had never formally developed a game before. What made you put everything on the line? Do you think this game would have been as great without the extreme pressure to succeed?" ConcernedApe replied, "I applied a few places. No one hired me. I felt both scared and depressed about going into the workforce anyway. I still felt like a kid. I wasn't ready to grow up. Most of the people in my social circle are bohemian types anyway, so I didn't feel a lot of social pressure to start a career, house, and everything. So I guess I felt like I could get away with being a struggling artist. My girlfriend was willing to support us until the game was done. The most risky thing was probably foregoing the experience and resume building that most of my peers were getting in the industry, in case my game flopped and I had to get a normal job. I'd have to apply for an entry-level job and I'd be much older than everyone else. So it would probably be even harder to get a job at that point. It may have been a foolish decision, but I am very fortunate that it worked out." So we can definitely see parallels between ConcernedApe and Sebastian, so I'm not debunking the theory, I'm just debunking the whole ConcernedApe admitted that Sebastian is a self-insert character, because he didn't, he never said that. Now, for my theory, just as ConcernedApe has created characters that are amalgamations of people he has met in real life, I think there are pieces of him in Stardew Valley split between characters, and it's not just one individual character that is his self-insert, it's multiple. 3 characters to be exact. Sebastian, Shane, and Leah. Let me explain. For Sebastian, this one is really easy. Sebastian and ConcernedApe both share a love of game development and music, which we already know. However, ConcernedApe mentions more about his background in that same Ask Me Anything thread, and I think this part is really telling. Reddit user asks, "How did you obtain your diverse set of skills, like coding, music, graphics, and writing?" ConcernedApe replied, "My mom is kind of an artistic person, and my dad is a logical technical person, so I guess the influences started early. I was very interested in computers as a little kid, and my dad encouraged me. In high school, I was way into music." I played guitar, played in bands, and made computer music on the side as well. I also always drew stuff for fun. So a guy with a lot of computer knowledge, loves music, and has an artistic mom and a logical technical dad. Sound familiar? But let's continue. What makes an individual so unique isn't just one or two hobbies and their job, it's a lot more than that. Let's go back to what he said before. So we already know, based on the introduction in Stardew Valley, that ConcernedApe has some serious issues with giant conglomerate corporations sucking the life out of its employees. It's the premise of Stardew Valley. Not only are we seeing ConcernedApe's hobbies and interests be inserted in Stardew Valley, but we're seeing his values and fears. Now, if there were a character in Stardew Valley that was on the older side, that was depressed, that worked a normal job, even an entry-level job, and was much older than anyone else he worked with, and was unhappy that this is what he was doing and not his true passion, who would that be? Obviously, it would be Shane. Now, I'm not sure if ConcernedApe meant for Shane to be fleshed out this much, but when Shane won the poll for who would be the next added bachelor in the 1.1 update, ConcernedApe had to write some more heart events and dialogues for him. If Sebastian is the idealized version of ConcernedApe, the version where he pursues his dreams and is relatively successful and happy, then Shane is the version where, in some alternate universe, Stardew Valley was a complete failure and barely made any sales, causing him to get a job that he wasn't passionate about. So where does Leah come into play? Back to what I said previously, it's not just the hobbies, interests, and fears that make a person, it's their values that come into play as well. ConcernedApe is deeply concerned, and that's not me making a joke, about the state of the world. In that same Ask Me Anything thread, this user says, ConcernedApe, love the game. What are you concerned about? ConcernedApe replies, global warming. ConcernedApe was dead serious when he said this. Throughout this thread, many people ask him what changes he would like to implement into Stardew Valley into future updates, and a lot of things he said has been put into the game since then. Remember, this thread was made 9 years ago, so if ConcernedApe is really concerned about global warming, what feature or mechanic did he put into the game in an update? Let's say the 1.6 update. The Green Rain. The Green Rain occurs randomly once each summer, only possible on the following dates: Summer 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 18, 23. In the first year, most villagers will stay indoors all day, except for Demetrius, Leah, and Linus. Now, we know Demetrius is outside gathering samples because of this never-seen-before scientific event. Linus is outside because he's always outside. Mind you, he could go into the saloon if he was genuinely scared or worried about his health, but when you talk to him during the event, he says, all these strange trees will be gone tomorrow. It's one of the mysteries of nature. So Linus isn't really running for cover, but what about Leah? Talk to her during the event and she says, where did all these plants come from? It's a surprise, but I'm not complaining. Talk to her the next day and she says, I guess everyone in town was scared of that strange rain? I had no idea, I just thought it was incredible. Mayor Lewis tells us, I just got off the phone with the governor. Apparently this rain is supposed to be completely harmless, just an unusual phenomenon of nature. Still, some of the townsfolk are panicking, which is never good. So Leah, Demetrius, and Linus were never in any harm's way. We can view the green rain as a way of nature spreading in a vast but harmless way. Leah is filled with dialogues about how important she views nature, how much she loves nature, and how much she wants to take care of it, but she has particular dialogues that connect with ConcernedApe's concerns. We wouldn't be able to survive without nature. It's good to remember that. I hate to be blunt, but if we don't treat nature with respect, our grandchildren will be doomed. Don't you think so? Everyone has a unique and interesting perspective, whether they believe it or not. Don't you think so? Although, some people have opinions that I just can't respect. Of all the games that ConcernedApe could have made, he made Stardew Valley. He made a game that incorporated his values about having a healthy work-life balance, appreciating nature, getting out of the rat race, and making positive changes for the future. The amalgamation of these three characters gives us an idea of what ConcernedApe, or Eric Barone, is like in real life. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. Let me know what y'all think about my theory and feel free to share your theory about ConcernedApe's possible self-insert character. If you've got a suggestion for the next video or some headcanons that y'all haven't want to share, be sure to leave a comment down below and make sure to subscribe to catch my next video. I'll be making more Stardew Valley videos, so keep an eye out. See y'all next time. Bye!